Now, back to that story about the Social Development Department's reform on policy suggestions around pensions. Well, it's not policy. It was a green paper released earlier in the month, and among the ideas was for people to contribute up to 12% of their salary to a mandatory pension. We spoke to Treasury on Friday. They confirmed it was not policy, adding that it has not been tested against the fiscus. Business groups say their input was largely ignored in drawing up that draft policy. So what's the appetite now for cash-strapped consumers expected to pay higher tax of up to 12% to the state pension fund if it does get underway in the next few years? Well, I want to bring in the CEO of Debt Rescue, Neil Roets. Neil, thanks very much indeed for your time. So you can see where such an idea to overhaul the retirement process would be coming from, Neil. South Africans have a poor record of retirement savings. One has to work towards preventing a disaster, you would agree. But what's your problem with what was released by the Social Development Department?
Well, Devin, you're 100% right. It does make sense that South Africans need to save for their retirement, and unfortunately, we don't have a saving culture. And we're also sitting with a lack of financial literacy, and therefore, South Africans are really finding themselves in a difficult situation with their finances. Now, the unfortunate thing with this green paper and this proposal is that it's coming at the wrong time. People just cannot afford at this stage to contribute up to 12% of their income towards retirement savings. It's a noble idea, but the reality is that people are so over-indebted currently in South Africa. Almost half of all credit-active consumers are over-indebted, meaning that they are in arrears with at least 3 payments on one of their accounts. So, and with the pandemic going on and putting so much strain on consumers, it's just not the right time, because consumers cannot afford to be forced to pay up to 12% of their income towards something that's going to happen in the future in their lives.
Okay, I hear you there. It's still out for public comment, and as I said, the Treasury confirming it's not policy yet. But, you know, according to your own stats and research, Neil, you've got 6% of South Africans that will be equipped with retirement savings when they eventually do retire. Something's got to give. What's the possible way that should be the most effective as we pan out and give public comment? I think it's December, that's the deadline.
Well, we have to accept the fact that a solution will not be instant. This has come a very long time. The fact that South Africans are not really financially literate, and the fact that we don't really have a saving culture. So I think the most important thing to do here is to establish a financial literacy, and that can only be done through proper financial education. So I feel that we would see more benefits through government implementing financial education and teaching people how to handle money and deal with money, and also to tell people to or help people to save money from an early age. And then also what is very important to note is that the best way of saving money is to get rid of debt, because debt carries very high interest rates. And currently we're sitting with a debt problem, not necessarily just a retirement problem. So I think the first problem that needs to be addressed is the debt situation, and therefore I think it would be better for government rather to focus on the debt situation and the remedies that are available in South Africa. We are very fortunate in South Africa.
My apologies for coming in. As I just conclude with the interview, on that debt situation, banks releasing results this week or last week as well, telling us that bad debt has improved somewhat, a little better than they had expected. Yet you have outfits like yours that tell us that more people are coming in for debt counseling. How is the debt situation as we emerged out of what was a rough year with COVID-19 last year among South Africans, very briefly?
No, the situation is unfortunately not looking good. The banks are very fortunate to see their bad debt being reduced. I don't know how that happens, because the reality is we just came out of this whole COVID situation. We actually still in this COVID situation, and with the lockdown and everything that came with it, like the job losses, payment cuts and the likes, it just threw people into devastation with regards to their finances. Yes, some people saved some money because they saved some expenses for not going into their workplaces. They worked remotely, but that wasn't enough to save the whole situation. So currently what we're seeing is that people are still very over-indebted, and we're seeing more and more people calling us for help in that regard.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there, but thanks very much indeed for the insights.